Hi, I'm Karis. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I have a kind of exciting video today. I say exciting, I don't know, maybe not. But I'm gonna be talking all about things they don't tell you about pregnancy. I am currently pregnant as I'm filming this with twins. I'm 27 weeks pregnant today. If you've been following along, you know that this wasn't a pregnancy I was expecting whatsoever. My husband and I got married in September and found out we were pregnant by November. The first trimester was rough, not just because of the sickness, but just because emotionally I wasn't prepared for the pregnancy. But since then, I've been doing so much better. I've talked all about it in other videos. You guys can go check that out. But in this video, I just want to talk about things I've discovered along the way that some stuff was shocking to me, some not so much. I actually asked my Instagram followers to tell me things they were not expecting about pregnancy, things they don't tell you about pregnancy. So if you see me look at my phone, it's because I have notes written down. Personally, I knew very, very little about pregnancy because I had no intentions of having kids, at least not for the next 5 years. I have talked about this before, but I've always just been insanely scared of pregnancy and giving birth, and I've never really babysat. I haven't changed a diaper. I am one of those women who know nothing about babies. Now I can say I know a little bit more because I've had to read up and learn and educate myself. But when I say I knew nothing going into pregnancy, I mean I knew nothing, not even just the common sense stuff. That being said, let's talk about all of these things they don't tell you about pregnancy. And I'm not going in any specific order. I just have them all written down, and there's like 30 on here. I'm gonna try to go fairly fast because I don't want this video to be an hour long. All right, so here's the first one. Craving some things, then not wanting them once you get it. So true. I didn't have many cravings in the first trimester because I was so sick. But when I started having cravings, I would literally order something on DoorDash, and then by the time DoorDash delivered it to my doorstep, I was like, I don't even want to touch that. So very common. Nausea, food aversion, water aversion. I knew pregnant women got sick, but I did not realize how terrible it truly could be for some women. And unfortunately, I was in that category. I was so nauseous. I lost like 15 pounds in my first trimester. It was terrible. And then the water aversion, that really just took me in for a loop because I was like, how could I be so disgusted by water right now and yet so thirsty at the same time? So odd. Next one, horrible pregnancy symptoms lasting past first trimester. Oh my gosh, I was so afraid this was gonna be me because I was so sick. So I was like, there's just no way that second trimester is gonna come here and all of a sudden I'm just gonna be okay. But to my surprise, around week 14, I really did start feeling better. That was nice, but I've heard of a lot of women who are like, no, I was sick the whole time and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you women do it who are sick the whole time. So, oh, this one, till this day, I just do not understand it. Vivid dreams. I cannot even begin to describe the wild dreams that you will have as soon as you get pregnant. I was not the type of person that remembered my dreams, but during pregnancy, oh my gosh, I would wake up and be like, I don't want to go back to bed because I don't want to get back into that dream. So weird. And I had him this whole time so far. It's so weird. Exhaustion, very true. And especially in the beginning, you're gonna want to sleep all the time. This one I have not experienced yet, but a lot of my followers said carpal tunnel in the wrists. I don't know. Apparently that's something. I hope I don't experience that. Always peeing. I knew this was a whole pregnancy thing. Women who are pregnant always go pee, but this is no joke. Starting right off the bat, this was the first symptom I experienced was I was always having to pee. This one, haven't experienced it yet because I have not given birth yet, but somebody said labor hurts even with an epidural. That's exciting. Acid reflux and heartburn. I thought I was going to be one of those lucky ones that didn't have to experience this, but a couple weeks ago, I started experiencing this and it's not fun. This one, it's kind of sad, but it's true. And that is some days it can be hard to love your body. It is so weird watching your body just transform in front of your eyes. Every day I still wake up and I cannot believe I have a bump. And there's been days where I've been like, oh, I feel so confident about this. But there's been a lot of days where I'm like, I feel weird. All of a sudden, there's just this huge bump here. Some days I just don't want to show it off. So I just want to wear sweatshirts and stuff. And other days I'm like, oh, I want to show off my belly. And it's weird. But I just been trying to just take it one day at a time. My husband's always so sweet and encouraging and tells me, you know, I look beautiful no matter what. But it is hard because your body is changing at a rapid rate. So if you're experiencing this, go easy on yourself. This one's another one I hadn't really thought of, but you are allowed to deny tests or medications. Specifically, I think people are talking about there's a glucose test you have to take, or you're recommended to take to see if you have diabetes. And there are some women who don't want to take those, and apparently you can decline these tests. I personally don't decline any tests. I have more of a high risk pregnancy with twins, so I'm like, I trust the doctors, so I'm just gonna do what they're telling me. But if you've been in situations where you haven't had a good experience with doctors, I can see why you'd be skeptical. So yeah, you definitely look into that if there are some tests you don't feel comfortable doing. This one is so spot on and definitely needs to be shouted from the rooftops, and that is, you're not a bad mom for not enjoying pregnancy. I cannot tell you the amount of guilt I felt during my first trimester days because I didn't want to be pregnant. It was just a surprise pregnancy, and I remember just thinking, I'm a terrible person. There are women who would die to get to be pregnant and they just can't, and I get to have 2 human beings alive in me, which is such a miracle, and yet I'm complaining about it. But the truth is, it is what it is. It is hard. It's okay to not enjoy every single moment. It's actually important to just let those emotions out and feel through those emotions and work through those emotions so that you don't just harbor all these bitterness and pass it on to your child someday. So you're not a bad mom if you don't enjoy being pregnant. This next one, also something I haven't experienced, but it is common, and that is spotting and cramping. And the first trimester is way more common. I did experience cramping. That's why for a while I didn't even know I was pregnant, because I was like, oh, it's just my pre-period cramps. But definitely the spotting, I did not experience that. This one is so true, and something I definitely struggled with in the beginning, and that is each day is different, not just each week. So true. I used to be like, why am I so tired? I just want to be energetic today. And then the next day I'd be like, oh, I have energy again. I can just get a lot done. And then the next day I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. And I would get so annoyed because I just wanted to be able to have control over my days, over my weeks. And you just can't, because your body's going through a lot and you just have to listen to it. And the sooner you learn to just work with your body, the better off you will be, is what I've learned. Okay, this one, oh my gosh. I was so shook when I started experiencing this. Your boobs and nipples get bigger and your nipples get darker. So I've always known, okay, my boobs were gonna get bigger when I get pregnant. I had no idea how dark my nipples were gonna get. I had to actually look it up because I was like, is this normal? It was like the first thing I started experiencing in my first trimester. And apparently it's definitely normal. I guess that's how the babies know where to latch on or whatever. But it's so weird, especially when you already have like dark skin. I can't speak for lighter complexion people, but if you have dark skin, your nipples get even way darker, and it's every time I look down I'm so, okay, that's odd. This next one, having emotional up and downs even if you're happy to be pregnant. So true. This one is also so true and sad. That is how lonely first trimester can feel, especially if you've had bad symptoms. Some people don't have it that hard, but I definitely was one of those people that just experienced a lot of sickness, but also just emotional hardships. And I'm actually going to be doing a video about this later on, about how to deal with depression and anxiety during pregnancy, because I definitely dealt with a lot of that in my first trimester, but it can be pretty lonely. And I hope if you are in that place, you have a good therapist that can help you work through this, or just family members who are willing to listen to what you're going through, because it can feel pretty isolating. All right, moving on to the next few things. Leg cramps. I haven't experienced this too much yet, but maybe I will later on. Headaches, yes. In the first trimester, I experienced a lot of that. Excessive saliva, also something I didn't experience too much, but this is a very common one. Constipation, whoo, especially if you take Zofran for your morning sickness, which I did in my first trimester, and the first week I didn't take stool softener with it. Worst mistake ever. Make sure you take a stool softener if you're taking Zofran. Morning sickness all day. Yes. I don't understand why they call it morning sickness. You are sick the whole day and night sometimes. I don't know where the whole morning sickness thing came about, but it's a lie. You're sick all the time. It's not always beautiful. That's so true. I think sometimes we glamorize pregnancy, which some parts of it is beautiful. My second trimester, I have genuinely felt so good, and my skin has looked the best it's ever looked. The whole pregnancy glow thing I thought was a joke, but like I really feel like I've experienced that. So some of it is beautiful, but there are a lot of other days where you don't feel too beautiful. So don't be hard on yourself if you're in those moments. So we're almost done here. We have a couple more left. I have not experienced this, but this is a common one, that is pregnancy rash called PUPS, PUPPS. Apparently that is common. And then this last one, right after you give birth, your belly feels super squishy. That was one I had no idea until one of my followers told me, which makes sense. Like right now, I feel like my belly feels like rock hard ab. But I can see why once the babies come out, your belly gets squishy. Another thing that's not on the list, but another thing I just found out is like you actually birth the placenta as well. What? I didn't know that. I had no idea. Somebody just told me that the other day. After you birth the baby, you have to actually birth the placenta. The other one, again, this is just coming to the top of my head. Somebody said after they gave birth, they lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds within a week, which makes sense with all the baby weight and the water weight or whatever that you're carrying. But I didn't think about that. I just assumed, it will take a long time to lose weight or whatever, but you can lose like a drastic amount of weight right after you give birth. And then I think the last one, again, this wasn't on the list either, but I just thought of it, is the weight gain. Weight gain is unavoidable and very important in pregnancy, but I think a lot of people struggle with this, and rightly so. It goes back to watching your body change in front of your face. And even though I'm a pretty like petite person, I actually hate to admit it, but I actually struggle with this because all my life I've just been able to maintain a certain weight, and I was always active. I played sports and stuff, and so it's been weird for me to step on the scale and see numbers I've never seen before, and I have to always remind myself, this is good. That means my babies are healthy, my body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I cannot be at the weight I started at 27 weeks into my pregnancy. If you're somebody that struggles with weight gain and body image and stuff like that, first of all, I am so sorry that you deal with that, because it's so hard. You're not alone. Try to remind yourself that your body is creating a human being, and that is so powerful, and we should all be grateful that we have bodies that are capable of doing these miraculous things. All right, well, that is it. I hope if you're looking to get pregnant, this video didn't discourage you. If you've already gone through pregnancy before and you have more to add to this list, please comment them down below. I'd love to hear more things, just we're not expecting about pregnancy. But yeah, overall, I'm so grateful that I get to do this and that my body's capable of doing this. But it has definitely been one of the craziest, wildest journey I've ever been on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've done a lot of other pregnancy related videos. I can link them in the description down below if you want to go check those out. Feel free to follow me over on Instagram. I'm very active on there. But until next time, bye.